I have some bad news, guys. I think PlayStation Vita support is finally dying down. And we might have to make the switch. Okay, I'm just kidding, but honestly, this is really sad. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night just got canceled on Vita, and that really sucks. You know what? It really sucks mainly because I was just in LA for E3 talking to the developers of that game, and they told me the Vita version was still happening. That was like a couple of months ago. And maybe it was at that time and they just decided to change their mind, but I bet they knew, and they really got my hopes up thinking this game was still happening on Vita. Because honestly, this isn't really the type of game I'm usually into. This is the type of game that I'm only going to jump into if it's on Vita because of the fact it's a developer still supporting the Vita. That makes me want to support their game, but otherwise, I don't really want to jump into a game like this on PS4. I got to play the console build at E3, and it's not really that impressive for a console game in my opinion. Like, the gameplay's kind of bland, like the aesthetic, the graphic style, not really my thing. But the music is great and everything. If it were a straight up a handheld game though, on my Vita, it's pretty impressive in that regard, just not really as a console game. But yeah, this is really sad because it's similar to the Wii U. I believe that version got canceled as well. And it's just showing that like developers aren't really going to keep making games for a console where their games aren't really selling. I believe they showed the stats of their last game, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, and only like 4% was the Vita, and like over like 60% was the Switch, and like that's pretty crazy. Like, it sold more than the Xbox One and the PS4 versions. The Switch is pretty much the Vita 2. Like, it's console quality games on the go. It's doing all of that stuff that the Vita like sort of started, in my opinion. But it's missing two very important things, and that is first party games and trophies, which are two things I care about greatly. So the Switch is never really gonna be able to replace the Vita in my heart, but it's gonna be time coming soon where we're just gonna not be getting any support from developers on Vita, and that makes me really sad. But don't get me wrong, I think we still have quite a while. I think we're gonna get at least another year and a half, maybe even 2 years out of this handheld. It's just gonna be very like sporadic releases with big games. Like, we're getting Atlas games still, like the Persona dancing titles, and we just got some cool like indie games like Chasm, and we're still getting games like that, but they're always games that aren't really regarded as being like this must-play titles, and that really makes me sad. Like, why didn't we get Celeste on Vita? That totally could have ran on Vita. And like Guacamelee 2, after playing it and my reviews going up, probably by the time you see this, I do understand now why they couldn't really bring it to Vita, and it's because the Vita doesn't have enough buttons to play it. Like, you need all the shoulder buttons in this new Guacamelee, and you didn't really need that in Guacamelee 1, but still, they could have figured it out, I'm sure, and it makes me sad because these games belong on Vita. These small indie games, like, why? Like, they're meant for my Vita. I love collecting trophies on the go, or I'm just relaxing on the couch when someone's watching TV. And like, sure, I can still do that on PS4, like remote play and all that, but we all know it's not the same, and like, but it's still cool. But, you know, I want these games natively on my Vita, and they're just not gonna keep happening, so I'm just gonna have to get over it. It makes me so sad. I'm the #1 Vita supporter. Not really, I don't know who's the #1, but I'm always trying to push Vita games and to push, just like tell everyone about the Vita, because Sony obviously never did, and that's one of the reasons why it didn't sell very great. Now we've come a time where support is really dying down. We're still gonna get probably some big Japanese releases, of course, and we're gonna get maybe some good indies as well, but I just wanted to take a look back at all the good times that we've had with Vita. So here's a rendition of Will You Remember Me by myself, so I don't get music copyright strikes. I will remember you. You will remember me. Don't let your life pass you by. Farewell, my Vita, remember me. Don't let your life pass me by. Farewell, my Vita, remember me. But, like I said in my last video, I have a huge backlog of Vita games, so I'm pretty much set for the next few years at least, Even if they never made a Vita game again, I'll probably still be playing it 5 to 10 years from now, like no joke. So yes, support is dying down, but at least we got a ton of games in the past like 6 years that we can still always jump back and play, and a lot of platinums to get. I think I'm gonna go play my Vita right now, so I will talk to you guys later.